not that bad, but it is cold.
Do you want to be a head coach again?
Yeah, I'm sure at some point. Yeah, at some point.
Do you plan to interview for jobs this year?
I won't comment on that, but yeah, we'll see how everything plays out. But I'm very happy here. Yeah, this has been an awesome place, and has really helped me kind of rekindle my love for the sport.
And last one, but what did you learn from your first stint, and what would you be looking for?
Yeah, I think the first one, I didn't know what I didn't know, really. Coming from college, I had bounced around on teams as a player, but not as a coach on any level. And so to come in there, I don't think I set the foundation the way I would do it after watching DQ and how he set the foundation from day one. And it was, these are the standards. This is what we won't compromise. This is what we're going to be. I definitely could have done a better job of that. And kind of once you don't lay it out like that, it's hard to put it back in. You know, it's hard to kind of reset it. And I think that's where he's done such a great job. It's like, this is what we're going to be from day one. There was no ifs, ands, or buts, and the guys bought in, and he's led in an incredible way by doing that.
So there are a couple things I want to talk about in today's video. Want to talk about the Pro Bowl selections, and also want to talk about Kliff Kingsbury, if he's going to take a head coaching job this offseason or not. But first things first, got to start off with the injury report, and it is looking better today. Tyler Biadasz, Marshawn Lattimore, Cornelius Lucas, Tyler Owens all didn't practice today. I don't expect neither of those guys to play, right? I don't expect all four of those guys to go on Sunday versus Dallas. Biadasz dealing with an ankle injury. He suffered it against the Falcons, and Lucas suffered his groin injury versus the Falcons as well. Biadasz was actually spotted with a boot after the Falcons game heading out of the locker room, so that's not a good sign, right? But hopefully he can be good to go for the wild card weekend game. Let's see if he's ready by then. Same with Cornelius Lucas, and we're going to need those two guys, especially Tyler Biadasz. Lucas might not be starting because it looks like Andrew Wiley should be back and ready. I don't think he's going to play this week, although he was limited. Still don't think he's going to go, but he should be ready by the wild card weekend game. And then Marshawn Lattimore still dealing with a hamstring injury. He did not practice yet again today. This week, I'm not really tripping about him practicing. I want him to get all the treatment done, all the rest. I need him ready for wild card weekend. If he's not ready by wild card weekend, then we got a problem, man. We got a problem, because we're either going to be going up against the Eagles, Bucks, or Rams. All three teams have elite receivers, right? The Bucks have Mike Evans. Obviously, the Rams have Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, and the Eagles have Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. We are going to need Marshawn Lattimore, and if he cannot go by wild card weekend, then it might be a little ugly against one of those teams. But, we'll see. Hopefully he is ready to go. Dyami Brown, he was limited today. That's really good. He's dealing with a hamstring injury. Don't think he'll go this week. However, with him being limited today, does make me think that he's trending in the right direction. Same with Andrew Wiley. Cleveland Farrell, he was limited today. And then Jordan McGee, who's also dealing with a hamstring injury, he was limited today as well. I think everybody that was limited today are not going to play besides Cleveland Farrell. So I think De'Ami Brown, Jordan McGee, and Andrew Wiley, they won't play this week. However, I do have a great feeling that they'll be good to go by wild card weekend. And then Eckler and Terry McLaurin, they were full participants today. We'll see if Eckler is activated off of IR this week. If I had to guess, they will probably have him ready by wildcard weekend. Maybe they just want to use this week to kind of ramp him back up into the offense, and then he'll be 100% good to go by wildcard weekend. But maybe they do activate him this weekend. We shall see, and maybe he is good to go for Sunday's game versus Dallas. Speaking of Dallas, their injury report is pretty non-threatening. Like I said yesterday, the only guys that were DNPs today were Keeman Hall and Nick Vigil. Those two guys are probably not going to play on Sunday versus us, but those are non-starters for the Cowboys, right? So they don't matter at all. And then everybody else on here, good to go. Moving on to Pro Bowl selections. So for Pro Bowl selections, we actually only had 2 players selected for the Pro Bowl, which kind of a surprise to me. But the 2 players were none other than Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin. Very well deserved. Jaden has had the best rookie season in a while. Like, you can even argue the best rookie season for a quarterback ever, right? He has done a terrific job at quarterback this season. He's been terrific this season. You can already put him in top 5 conversations, in my opinion, at the QB position. He's been nothing short of spectacular. Well-deserved Pro Bowl selection for him. And then Terry, he's put up over 1,000 yards this season and a career-high 12 touchdowns. His career high before was 7 touchdowns. He increased it by 5 to 12, and he has a chance to break the franchise record this week for most touchdowns, receiving touchdowns in a single season in franchise history. So Terry, well-deserved, and obviously this year, his 5th straight 1,000-yard receiving season. So Terry McLaurin, well-deserved Pro Bowl selection. So this is actually the first time the Commanders have had a QB receiver duo selected to the Pro Bowl since 1991. Pretty sure it was Mark Rippon and Gary Clark. So, man, Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin still making more history this season. And then I'm honestly surprised we only had 2 guys selected for the Pro Bowl. I feel like Frankie Louvu was kind of snubbed out. He's been tremendous this year. He was finished 5th in Pro Bowl fan voting, which was kind of a surprise to me. Like, I feel like he should have finished a little bit more higher. Dante Fowler Jr., he finished 4th. You could make the argument that both those guys should have made the Pro Bowl. They are alternates, though, and I'm going to read out the alternates real quick. So, Bobby Wagner, Tyler Ott, Nick Bellore, all 3 of those guys, first-team alternates or first alternates. So, say, for example, like, I'm pretty sure Zach Bond made the Pro Bowl and Fred Warner. If the Eagles were to go to the Super Bowl, Bond would not be able to play in the Pro Bowl, so that means Wagner would fill in for him since he's the first alternate. So that's kind of how alternates work. If a guy selected in the Pro Bowl can't play at a certain position, then the guy that's an alternate at that position will fill in for him. So that's kind of how alternates work. Tyler Biadasz, Frankie Louvu, Tress Way, they are all second alternates. Austin Eckler, Dante Fowler Jr., Jeremy Reeves, they're third alternates. And then Jeremy Chin and Zach Ertz are 5th alternates. So, like I said a minute ago, I feel like Frankie Louvu should have made it. You can even make the argument for Tyler Biadasz, although Frank Ragnow, he's a really good center. I think he made it for the Lions, so he's a beast. You could argue that Tress Way should have made it, but I know the Lions had a ton of guys make the Pro Bowl, which isn't a surprise. But, yeah, the Lions got a lot of dogs over there, and I'm pretty sure their punter made the Pro Bowl over Tress Way. You could argue, like I said a minute ago, Dante Fowler Jr., he could have made the Pro Bowl, but, it's what it is right there, right? It's just amazing that we have 11 alternates. We didn't have a single alternate or Pro Bowl selection last year, so you can see that things are changing around here in Washington. So to be able to have these many selections, right? We didn't have a single one last year, right? Now we have 2 this year, our quarterback and a receiver, and to have 11 alternates this year is pretty amazing to see. And then the last thing I want to discuss is Kliff Kingsbury expected to interview for the Bears head coach opening, and the Bears obviously expect to interview a bunch of guys for their head coach opening. I know they'll pursue heavily for Ben Johnson. But Kliff is also one of the guys that has popped up for their head coaching opportunity, right? He's one of the candidates for several head coaching jobs around the NFL, which isn't a surprise, right? Our offense has been top 5 this year with very limited weapons. Obviously, we have Olamide Zaccheaus at receiver 2 right now, right? So it's really just Jaden, Terry, and then everybody else. And Jaden and Kliff have been able to make it work with everybody on the roster. And obviously, the league's seeing that. And Kliff said in his press conference today, and I love that Kliff was being honest, he said that he does want to be a head coach again at some point. Now, with the way he said it, with his response to the question, I feel like Kliff is going to stay one more year, and then after one more year, so one more year obviously will be next year, 2025, and then after 2025, he will become a head coach again in 2026. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does take a head coach job this offseason. Maybe the Bears decide to hire him. Maybe another team like the Jaguars or Jets. Maybe. I'm not sure, right? But with the way he kind of sounded in his press conference, I feel like he is happy here, and he said it himself. He's happy here. And keep in mind that Kliff is still being paid by the Arizona Cardinals. Obviously, I'm pretty sure they gave him a contract extension before he was fired. So, I think they gave him a contract extension before the 2021 or 2022 season. So, they're still paying him, and that contract doesn't expire until 2027, I'm pretty sure. And obviously, he's getting money from us as well for being the offensive coordinator of this team, of course. So, he's still getting paid a big amount from that Arizona Cardinal head coaching bag, right? So, he may not feel the need to, get a head coaching job so soon, but at the same time, he could make more money, right? A team could, go out there, offer him a bunch of money to come and coach their team, and he might take that offer, right? So we'll see with Kliff. I want you guys to comment down below whether or not you guys think Kliff will stay another year or not in Washington. And one more thing, I feel like Kliff is better or more comfortable being a offensive coordinator than a head coach, because with a head coach you have so many different responsibilities, not only on offense but with the defense as well at times, right? And game day situations, right? Clock management and everything that goes down basically on your team. As an offensive coordinator, he only needs to worry about play calling and developing his quarterback, his young quarterback, and obviously ours is Jaden Daniels. So would it be really, really nice to keep Kliff and Jaden together to develop for at least one more year? And it's great that we have a really good, offensive staff, because we have David Blau as our assistant QB's coach, Tavita Pritchard as our QB's coach, and then you have Anthony Lynn and Brian Johnson as your pass game coordinator and run game coordinator. So, we have a really good offensive coaching staff. So if Kliff leaves, we have in-house options to replace him for offensive coordinator. So, we'll see what happens, but ultimately, I do think Kliff ends up staying one more year. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And other than that, it's been King Sean, and I'm out. Peace.